today I'm in the classic 1983 Porsche 924 that I bought about 4 months ago, and I had hoped to do a lot more videos on the car, but the first video that I put out didn't get much interest, and I honestly hoped and thought that me purchasing my first classic car would have got a lot more interest, but unfortunately not. I did record a couple more videos, but I sort of lost enthusiasm for the recording when the first video didn't do as well as I thought it would. But not to worry. Today I'd like to show you how the MOT history of a car can mean basically nothing. So the last 5 MOTs on this car were clean. There were no advisories whatsoever, and it's possible for a well looked after car, and it was only doing 200 miles a year or less, but I had it inspected before actually having an MOT. So I had a dummy MOT done on it, an MOT without logging on, and this is what we found. So the car isn't due an MOT until August. We're in May now, but I've brought it in for an MOT test, but without logging in. So we've got a test sheet, but it won't be logged. Most of the brake hoses are original. Haven't found any lower suspension components with playing. Got quite an oil leak, not sure exactly where it's coming from. I did find a possible source of some of the oil. The filler cap does appear to leak, and the oil is constantly hitting the filler cap, but it just doesn't seem like enough to be dripping underneath. I'm not 100%. The sills are in very, very good condition, considering it's 39 years old. Just got this inner wing here that may become a problem soon. The exhaust is split here, and for some reason we're missing a bolt into this drive shaft, which would be a failure on the MOT, and yet the last 5 MOTs have been clean passes with no advisories whatsoever. Now, it has only done about 300 miles a year for the last few years, and I've already done about 400 miles in it, but I'm pretty sure that this couldn't have happened just driving home. Some of the problems, but it was to be expected, really, because you never know what you're getting. That's a bit close to that pulley. It's actually touching. But not really that many nasty surprises, considering it's such an old car. If the car was registered after 2001, this honeycomb number plate would be a failure. So this would have been a minor defect, if I recall correctly. The headlight aim on both headlights was way too high, but this is after I'd already adjusted it to the correct level. This would have been a failure, and it explains a lot of the knocking that I was experiencing on the drive home, which was transmitted through the steering wheel.
Sounds lower down. Got a bit of play in this U-joint here, but it's just where it clamps the spline. So I'm going to try and tighten that. The passenger top mount makes a bit of weird noise, but there's no knocking or play in it, so I'm not entirely sure what that is. Both of these stone chips in the windscreen are in the driver's view, so they would have been advisories.
Passed the brake test, no issue whatsoever. Now on to the emissions, which were absolutely miles out.
What you'll tend to find is when your CO comes down, because it wants it, the idle will go up, so it's running better. When it's been an air screw, putting less air in, so your mixture goes up, so you've got to keep tweaking both until you get a happy medium.
The CO was at 5% when it should have been at 1.5 plus or minus 0.5%.
78 to 80.
0.5 to 1%. It's lower than the 1.5, isn't it?
Is this your model? This is with lambda.
Ah.
Yours ain't got lambda, so I'd go for the earlier setting.
Right.
And I know from past experience, that's what they use with it.
So Jeff allowed me and showed me how to adjust the CO. This is adjusting the fueling, and we'll also adjust the air screw to adjust the idle speed as well.
Going anti-clockwise.
You're basically lifting the needle in the centre of that, allowing more fueling. That's going down, look.
What are we going for? We're going for 1.5. We're going
1.5 plus or minus 0.5. See how your hydrocarbons are dropping as well, which is good.
So let's go back up now.
Yeah, give it a chance to settle, then tweak it back up. Give it at least 30 seconds to register and settle. What we need to do now is slow your engine down. You might find it's got still lagging. Slow down.
So we've adjusted the CO. Now we're going to adjust the idle down to 90 950 plus or minus 25. So we'll be looking for just a bit lower than it is now. That's just above 1,000. Price to lower it, wasn't it? Yeah. So you're cutting off fuel, air.
These used to stick open, so you suspected it was that. When it was warm, you would clamp it, and there was a difference, and you had to stick it open.
They're called. Yeah. So sad.
Like a flat that's not stick, so they let air in.
Right. Well, so now the CO's gone up a little bit.
A little bit because you've reduced the air entering ready, but
we can adjust that a little bit.
You can if you want, right?
I'll just check what the idle says on the. Right, so we have a pretty good idle speed. It looks like probably around 900.
You know, we do an independent factor on top of the vehicle once not always accurate.
So any of these?
Any one, yeah. Spot on, look, 940.
Stuff was so much better before, wasn't it?
You know somewhere, it's just bringing it all back. I'm getting rid of nostalgia. Yeah.
So I adjusted it down a little bit further, and that's great. Won't be a problem on the MOT when I do need to put it through. This is a screenshot of the info regarding the honeycomb number plate, and the wording regarding the bolt being missing from the drive shaft is somewhat open to interpretation. So you'll see it says securing bolts loose or missing, and it says bolts plural, and the S isn't inside brackets, so we're not 100% sure whether that would mean that one bolt missing isn't a failure, but multiple bolts missing would be a failure. This isn't unique when it comes to the MOT test manual, and there are a lot of times when it is up to the discretion of the MOT tester on how to interpret the failure. Thanks for watching this video on the Porsche. I hope to do a review of the car before selling it, but my circumstances in real life are a little bit up in the air, so I'm not sure whether I will be able to hold on to the car. The MOT, I have had it MOT'd now because it expired at the beginning of August, and that's the last MOT it will actually require. The next August, I think it is, I can't remember exactly the date, but in next year it'll be 40 years old, so it will be tax exempt and MOT exempt, which I was hoping to be able to keep it as long as that, but everything's a bit up in the air at the moment, so I'm not sure. But look out for a review video, fingers crossed, or just keep looking out for my current projects. Thanks for watching.